It's nearly 9 in the morning. The computer screen is on. The charts are open. The heartbeat is a bit fast. You are thinking, today, I have to do something big. But Mike Bellafiore stops your thinking right there. He says, the people in the market who want to do something big every day are the ones who get kicked out first. And this is where the real story of one good trade begins. This book doesn't teach you how much money will be made today. This book teaches you whether you are able to execute one right trade today or not. Because if you can make just one right trade every day, then money starts coming on its own. But if you make many wrong trades every day, then no matter how much you earn in one day, the market will bring you back to the ground. Mike Bellafiore doesn't start this book with theory. He starts it with the reality of an actual trading floor. A proprietary trading firm in New York called SMB Capital. New people come here every day. Everyone has the same dream, to make money from trading. But within a few months, most people disappear. Why? Because they come not to understand the market, but to fight the market. Mike says clearly, the market is not your enemy. Your thinking is your enemy. Most new traders come assuming that if they have a good indicator, a secret strategy, or some surefire setup, they will become successful. But this book repeatedly breaks the idea that no setup works until your mindset is professional. This is why at SMB Capital, new traders are not given charts on the first day. They are first taught how to think, how to prepare, how to identify a mistake. Mike explains that an amateur trader jumps on every move. He thinks, this stock is running, let's get in now. But a pro trader doesn't think like that. He asks, is this my trade? One good trade means a trade that is within your plan, within your rules, and within your risk. This is a very important line. If you followed the rules and a loss occurred, it is still a good trade. And if you broke the rules and a profit occurred, it is a bad trade. Because bad habits give rewards in the beginning, but snatch everything away in the end. Mike Bellafiore explains that most traders fall in love with money. They start seeing money in every trade. But a pro trader considers money a result, not the goal. There is only one goal: the right process. This book repeatedly mentions that trading is not a lottery. It is a skill, and like every skill, it requires practice. Mistakes happen, and improvements must be made. At SMB Capital, every trade of every trader is recorded. At the end of the day, no one asks, how much did you earn today? The question is, did you execute your trade the right way? If the answer is yes, then even if the day is red, that trader is on the right path. Mike says something very deep. To survive in the market, you don't have to be a hero. You have to be consistent. A little bit right every day. One good trade every day. This very thinking gradually turns an amateur into a professional. And right here, the story takes a turn. Because now the question is not what one good trade is. Now the question is, how does a person train their mind in such a way that they repeatedly take only the right trade? Because now the question isn't about what the right trade is. Now the question becomes, is your mind ready to take that right trade? Mike Bellafiore says, the biggest battle in the market is not on the charts, it is inside your head. When a new trader arrives at SMB Capital, their biggest problem is not the market but themselves. Fear, greed, the thought of getting rich quickly, and the restlessness to catch every move. Mike explains that a beginner trader sees hope in every green candle and fear in every red candle. But a professional trader doesn't look at the candle, he looks at the context. He asks, what phase is the market in right now? Is it a trend or a range? Is the volume supporting it? And the most important question, is this setup part of my plan? This book repeatedly teaches that if you don't have a clear reason for taking a trade, then that trade is not a trade, it's a reaction. Mike Bellafiore shares a very bitter truth. Most people lose in the market because they come without preparation. A pro trader's day starts long before the market opens. He looks at the news. He looks at the pre-market movement. He decides in advance which stocks to watch today and which ones to avoid. Because a pro trader knows every day every stock is not for him. It is clearly stated in One Good Trade, you don't have to snatch opportunities from the market, you have to wait for the opportunities. An amateur trader jumps in as soon as the market opens. A pro trader watches after the market opens. He sees, is everything going according to plan? Is the stock doing what it was supposed to do? If not, he doesn't trade. And this very thing bothers most people the most, because not trading seems very difficult. Mike says in the market, the hardest skill is not taking a trade, it's skipping a trade. At SMB Capital, traders are taught that if today not even one good setup was found, then this too is a successful day, because you did not take a wrong trade. Now here, Mike points out a very vital thing: focus. A good trader doesn't look at everything. He works very deeply on a limited number of things. He knows which setups suit him, which ones don't. A major message of one good trade is, you don't need to learn 10 strategies, you need to learn 1 or 2 strategies extremely well, and then repeat them repeatedly with discipline. Mike explains that the best traders at SMB Capital don't trade the most. They take the best trades. Now comes the talk about loss, because this is where most people break down. The book says clearly, if you are afraid of loss, then you can never become a professional. Loss is the fee of trading. Just like in business there are expenses, similarly, in trading there are losses. A pro trader doesn't make a loss emotional. He makes it data. He asks, did I break a rule? Or was this just a normal trade loss? If the rule wasn't broken, then that trade is not a failure. It is a lesson. Mike Bellafiore also says, the most dangerous thing is not a big loss but breaking small rules, because that gradually becomes a major disaster. Now here, the story goes to an even deeper level, because when you start preparing, start following discipline, then another enemy wakes up inside you, ego. Ego says, I am right. The market is wrong. I should have caught this move. Mike says clearly, those who keep an ego in the market don't last long. A pro trader doesn't argue with the market. He listens to what the market says. If the market is going against your plan, then don't consider the market wrong. Stop yourself. And right here, one good trade gives a very big lesson. Your job is not to predict the future. Your job is to react, but in the right way. You don't know where the next candle will go, but you know if it goes wrong how much the loss will be. And from here, risk management enters the story completely. Because now it's not just about right thinking, now it comes down to staying alive. Mike Bellafiore says, before winning in the market, you have to learn how not to die. And this is the place where most traders finish themselves off. Risk. Everyone talks about risk, but very few people truly understand it. A beginner trader takes risk lightly. He thinks, it's just one trade. It will come back. Let's hold it a bit longer. But Mike Bellafiore explains, in the market, just one wrong trade can ruin the whole month. And this is the reason why, at SMB Capital, before teaching how to trade, risk control is taught. The book says clearly, if you cannot control risk, then you are not fit for trading. This line sounds harsh, but this is the truth. A pro trader never asks, how much can I earn? He always asks, if I am wrong, how much will I lose? And if the answer to that question makes him uncomfortable, he simply leaves the trade. Here, Mike explains a very important thing, position sizing. Most new traders ignore this. They think, the setup is good, so let's take a big size. But a pro trader thinks about size before the setup, because he knows the wrong size can make even a right trade bad. One good trade teaches that your size should be such that even if the trade goes wrong, you can remain mentally stable. If the loss of one trade shakes you, then your size is wrong. At SMB Capital, traders are gradually scaled up. First, small size. Then, consistency. Then, a bit more confidence. Because Mike says, large size is not for earning. It is to be deserved. Now here, another big truth comes forward. Most traders, after a loss, take the next trade quickly. Why? Because they want to prove themselves. This is revenge trading. Mike Bellafiore calls this the cancer of trading. Revenge trading makes you feel that you are in control, but in reality, you are at your weakest. A pro trader, after a loss, stops. He sees, was this just a normal loss? Or did I break a rule? If a rule was broken, then he removes himself from trading for some time. Because a pro trader knows that any trade taken in a bad mental state cannot be one good trade. Mike explains that, at SMB Capital, some traders are most successful because they skip trades the most. They know when their mind is not right. They know when their focus is low. And they know the market will be there tomorrow too. Now the story takes another important turn, because here, Mike brings a concept that most books ignore. Self-awareness. What kind of trader are you? Do you like fast moves? Or slow setups? Are you good at breakouts? Or reversals? One good trade teaches that you don't have to copy others. You have to find your own strength yourself. At SMB Capital, every trader's style is different. Someone plays the opening move. Someone plays the midday setup. Someone plays the end of the day. But there is one thing common in all. They do not go outside their style. Because as soon as you leave your style, you go outside of your edge. And right here, Mike says something very deep. In the market, your biggest enemy is not another trader. Your enemy is that trade which you took outside of your plan. By this point, it starts becoming clear that one good trade is not actually a trading system, it is a system of thinking. A system that gradually takes you from weak decisions to strong decisions. But here, another question arises. If everything is so clear, so logical, then why do most people fail? From here, the story goes to the next level. And from there, the next part will begin. Because by now you have learned how to stay alive. Now the question is, how will you get better? Mike Bellafiore says surviving in the market is not a big deal. In the market, constantly getting better is the real challenge. From here, the story of the edge begins. An edge is not some magical strategy. An edge is not a secret indicator. An edge is that small advantage of yours that you can repeatedly repeat with discipline. At SMB Capital, every trader is asked this: what is your edge? And if a trader cannot give a clear answer to this question, then he is not yet considered a trader. Because if you yourself don't know what you are good at, then the market will repeatedly take you to the wrong place. Mike explains that an edge is built gradually. First, you identify a setup. Then, you play it repeatedly. Then, you look for mistakes in it. Then, you improve it. This very process creates an edge. One good trade says clearly, an edge is not found outside. An edge is built from your work. Now here, the trading journal enters the story. Most traders consider a journal boring, but a pro trader knows the journal is his mirror. At SMB Capital, every trade undergoes a postmortem. Why was the entry taken? Why was the exit taken? Was the rule followed or not? How was the state of mind? Mike says if you cannot be honest with your trades, then you can never move forward. An edge is formed when you identify your most common mistakes, because your biggest strength is hidden right there where you slip repeatedly. Now here comes a very interesting point. The book says a pro trader learns something or other from every trade, but an amateur trader only remembers the profitable trades. And this keeps him behind. Mike Bellafiore says your next level is hidden in your previous wrong trade, but the condition is you must have the courage to see it. Now comes the talk of coaching. At SMB Capital, traders are not left alone. They are given feedback. They are asked questions. Their thinking is challenged. Mike explains coaching oneself is very difficult. That is why a pro trader is always open to feedback. If you see every piece of advice through ego, then you will never be able to build an edge. Now here the book reveals another truth. As you get better, the market tests you even more. The thing that seemed easy before now starts seeming difficult. And right here, many people again return to old mistakes. Mike says, this is the place where the pro and the amateur diverge. A pro trader updates the edge. An amateur gives up on the edge. The market changes. The volume changes. The participants change. But a pro trader doesn't run away from change. He understands it. One good trade teaches that your job is not to control the market, it's to update yourself. By now, one thing becomes completely clear. An edge is not built in a day. An edge is built with sweat. It's built with honesty. And most of all, it's built with patience. But the story is not over yet. Now the final question arises. When you have the edge, have the discipline, then what is the thing that can ruin everything? And that thing is success. From here, the story takes an even more dangerous turn in the next part. Because success in the market is the most peaceful-looking but most dangerous enemy. Mike Bellafiore says, most traders don't break from loss, they get spoiled by success. A few good trades happen, profit starts coming consistently. Confidence increases. And right here, a voice comes in the mind. Now I understand it. Now I can increase the risk a little. Now rules are not so important. This very voice ruins everything. One good trade says clearly, overconfidence is more dangerous than a lack of discipline. At SMB Capital, when a trader suddenly starts doing very well, he is not given a free pass. He is watched even more closely. Because Mike knows it is here that mistakes happen the most. After success, a trader starts taking bigger sizes. Starts taking trades without full preparation. And most dangerous, he starts thinking that he is above the market. But the market forgives no one. Mike Bellafiore says, the market always reminds you of your place. A pro trader is different because even after success, he asks the same question. Was this one good trade? If the answer is no, then he views even the profit with suspicion. Now here the book says something very deep. Your real test doesn't happen when you are losing. Your real test happens when everything is going right. At SMB Capital, a successful trader is repeatedly reminded, today's profit is not a guarantee for tomorrow. This is why a pro trader starts every day from zero. He does not bring yesterday's profit into today's mind. Because the trader who lives in yesterday makes a mistake in today. Now here, Mike Bellafiore explains another vital thing. Consistency. In the market, anyone can have one big day. But to stay right consistently is something very few people can do. A pro trader doesn't try to be a hero. He does the same work correctly. Every day. One good trade teaches that you have to make your identity in the market gradually. Not fast, not loudly. By staying calm, now the story goes to another level. Because now a new question stands before the trader. Am I just taking trades? Or am I truly becoming a professional? Mike says a professional trader doesn't make trading his identity. He makes trading his work. If your entire self-esteem is based on one trade, then you will never be able to make the right decision. A pro trader knows one trade doesn't determine his value. His value is determined by his process. Now here the book gives a very quiet but serious warning. If trading is hollowing you out from inside, then you are doing something wrong, because trading done in the right way doesn't tire you. It teaches you. One good trade teaches that trading should not be for taking away life, it should be for making a life. And for this, boundaries are essential. Breaks and balance. A pro trader knows when to close the market, because the trader who cannot build a life outside the market will not last long inside the market. By now, one thing becomes completely clear. One good trade is not actually a trading book, it is a training manual. A manual that gradually makes you fit for the market. But as of now, everything is not complete. Now the final question remains. When you change your thinking, learn discipline, build an edge, and learn to handle success, then how does a pro trader judge himself? At the end of the day is over. The market is closed. The screen is quiet, but the real work of a pro trader begins now. Mike Bellafiore says, money in the market is not made during the trade, it is made after the trade. Because the trader who does nothing after the market closes will repeat the same mistake the next day. One good trade says quite clearly, post-market review is the backbone of a pro trader. At SMB Capital, every trader writes down his trades. At the end of the day, but not just how much profit occurred or how much loss. The most important questions are, was this trade according to my plan? Was the entry right? Was the exit disciplined? Did I make any decision out of fear or greed? Mike says if you lie to your trades, then you are deceiving yourself. And the trader who deceives himself, the market punishes him many times over. A pro trader doesn't hate his bad trades. He learns from them. And the funny thing is, many times the biggest lesson is found in profitable trades. Because profit made in the wrong way is the biggest loss of the future. One good trade teaches to divide every trade into 3 categories. Good trade, bad trade, lucky trade. A good trade is where the process was right, no matter what the result was. A bad trade is where rules were broken, even if money was made. A lucky trade is where, despite a mistake, the market saved you. A pro trader considers lucky trades to be the most dangerous, because they make wrong habits feel right. At SMB Capital, such trades are specifically discussed, because Mike knows today's luck can become tomorrow's ruin. Now here comes another deep point. Journaling. One good trade repeatedly says, if you are not writing, you are not learning. A journal is not just about numbers, it is about the state of mind. What were you thinking while taking the trade? How were you feeling? Were you feeling afraid or not? Were you in a hurry or calm? Because in the market, your biggest indicator is your own mind. A pro trader identifies his mental patterns. He knows when he overtrades, when he panics quickly, when he becomes irrational after a win. And this self-awareness makes him different from an ordinary trader. Now the story becomes deeper, because now, Mike Bellafiore reveals a truth that most people do not want to hear. The market does not make you fast. The market makes you honest. If you are lazy, the market will expose it. If you are undisciplined, the market will bring it forward. If you want to get rich quickly, the market will break you slowly. One good trade says the market is your mirror. What you are inside will be reflected outside. That is why a pro trader doesn't consider the market an enemy. He considers the market his teacher. Every day the market asks a question. Can you still stick to your rules today? And the pro trader every day gives the answer to that question. Yes, but the journey is not over yet. Because now comes the hardest part. When everything starts making sense, when patterns start appearing, when profit starts becoming stable, then a new challenge comes. Growth. Now the question is no longer whether you can earn money or not. Now the question is, can you go from this level to the next level? Now the story moves forward from here. Now the trader is not new. Now he is not afraid of the market. Now he can read charts. Now he can identify mistakes. Now the question is not whether he can trade or not. Now the question is, can he control himself? One good trade says clearly that a trader's real enemy is not the market, but his own success. Because as soon as some consistently good trades happen, the mind starts to change. Now confidence gradually becomes arrogance. The trader starts thinking, now I know everything. Now I can take a bigger size. Now I can jump into every opportunity. And this is where 90% of traders break. Mike Bellafiore shares a truth. At SMB Capital, the biggest losses are not made by new traders, but by traders who have become somewhat successful. Because they know the rules, but they stop following them. One good trade teaches that increasing size is a reward for skill, not for ego. A pro trader increases size gradually, based on data. He doesn't look at how much was earned today. He looks at, were my last 50 trades according to my plan? Am I trading the same way every day? Is my edge stable? If the answer to these questions is yes, only then does the size increase. Mike says the trader who increases size too quickly also gets out quickly. Now here comes another deep point. Edge. Edge. One good trade says a pro trader doesn't trade everything. He only trades where he has a clear edge. Edge means a setup that gives you an advantage in the long run. Not every move, every breakout, every piece of news. Mike explains that at SMB Capital, every trader has their own edge. Someone is an expert in opening breakouts, someone in VWAP reversals, someone in momentum trades. But no one does everything. One good trade teaches that your strength lies in your limitations. The trader who wants to do everything ends up doing nothing right. Now the story comes to the trader's mindset, because a pro trader is attached to the process, not the result. Every day he asks only one question: did I make the right trade today? Not how much money was made today? Because money is a byproduct of the process. One good trade says if you keep doing the right thing repeatedly, the market cannot ignore you. But if you stop doing the right thing, the market will teach you a lesson. Now the trader is at a new level. He knows he doesn't have to be perfect every day. He just has to be consistent. He knows the market will be different every day, but his attitude must remain the same. And this is the soul of one good trade. But the story is not over yet. Because now comes the biggest question. Can you play this game for a long time? Now the trader has learned to make money. Now he is not afraid of charts. Now he doesn't panic over a loss. But now another question arises. Will he be able to play this game for years? One Good Trade is not a book about making fast money. It is a book about staying power. Mike Bellafiore says clearly, in the market, the winners are not the fast ones. They are the durable ones. Now comes the reality of a trader's life. A pro trader doesn't watch charts day and night. He knows that fatigue is the mother of wrong decisions. At SMB Capital, trading is viewed like an athlete. Just as an athlete doesn't play 100% every day, similarly, a trader doesn't go all in every day. One Good Trade teaches that energy management is just as important as money management. If the mind is tired, the edge disappears. If emotions are not in control, the system becomes useless. This is why a pro trader structures his day. He knows when to trade, when to stop, when to walk away from the screen, because catching every move is not necessary. What is necessary is catching the right move. Now Mike shares another truth. The market doesn't give an opportunity every day. And the trader who looks for an opportunity every day often enters in the wrong place. One Good Trade says patience is a trader's biggest capital. The one who can wait is the one who makes a good trade. Now the identity of the trader has changed. He no longer considers himself a moneymaker. He considers himself a professional. And a professional learns every day. At SMB Capital, learning never stops. New patterns, new markets, new situations. Everything changes every year. And the trader who doesn't update himself, the market leaves him behind. One Good Trade says that it is not necessary that what is working today will also work tomorrow. Therefore, a pro trader is flexible, not stubborn. Now the story reaches a deep place. Because now the trader makes a promise to himself. He will not link his identity with the market. He knows that a loss is not his value. Profit is not his identity. He is attached to his work, not the result. And this thinking keeps him in the game for the long run. The real message of One Good Trade is hidden right here. The market gives you no guarantees. But if you make one good trade every day, in the long run, the market will reward you. Now only one final part remains, where the whole story comes together. This is the final part. This is where the whole story connects completely. Now the trader is not new. Now he doesn't fight the market. Now he understands the market. And right here, the real meaning of One Good Trade becomes perfectly clear. Mike Bellafiore's book never says, make money every day. Every trade should be a winner. Beat the market. This book says only one thing. Just make one good trade today. Just one. Because if you make just one good trade today, according to the plan, with discipline, without emotions, then today is a success. Regardless of whether money was made or not. One Good Trade teaches that a great trader doesn't make a great day. He makes great habits. And habits gradually change your life. Now the trader understands. The market will never move according to him. But he can always move according to himself. He can control his risk. He can choose his entry. He can admit his mistake. He can stop his ego. And this is his real strength. One Good Trade also teaches that there are no shortcuts in the market. He who looks for shortcuts gets out quickly. He who builds a process goes up gradually. The entire culture of SMB Capital stands on this one principle. Every trader will not be perfect, but every trader will be responsible. Now the trader doesn't consider himself a hero. He knows the market can bring him down at any time. That is why he always remains humble. He comes into the market fresh every day. Without ego, without a sense of revenge, without greed. One good trade teaches this. Today's trade should be better than yesterday's, that's all. If you are becoming a slightly better trader every day, then you are on the right path. Money will come on its own. Now this book leaves a question. Are you ready to make just one good trade today? Not big money, not a fast win, not proving the market, just one good trade. If yes, then you have already moved ahead of 90% of people. Because the market is won by discipline, not by noise. And this is the complete message of one good trade. One good trade every day. That's it. If you have been able to listen until here, it is clear that you didn't just come to watch a video, you came to learn. After listening to one good trade, if even one thing has settled in your mind that victory in the market comes from discipline, not from being fast, then this video has been successful. Remember, the market doesn't ask for perfection from you, it asks for honesty. One good trade today, another tomorrow. This is the long-term victory. If this story makes you think, then like it so that it reaches more people. If you want to learn trading seriously, then subscribe to the channel because here, truth is told, not noise. And do write in the comments, what was the biggest lesson of one good trade for you? We will meet again in the next story with a new book, a new thought, and a new perspective. Until then, stay disciplined, keep learning, and make just one good trade every day.